Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gather together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right, welcome in, Cellar Dwellers. I'm Mark.
And I'm Ivy.
And we are Blood in the Cornfields. Okay, so
Spooky season
is upon us. Yes.
As of this recording, it will be close to Halloween.
It'll be so close. I have a love-hate relationship with Halloween because, like, I love the fall, I love the weather, but, like, a lot of you out there, like, spooky stuff isn't a season for me, you know? And like, for you, so it's just, like, there's more spooky things to do, but it's like I find myself being always broke in October. It's so funny. I had the same thing last year. So it's like, I don't really do too much. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we do a lot of the normal stuff that a lot of families do. You know, sometimes you might pop into like a haunted house that some Boy Scouts made or something chintzy like that. But you just want to support a local cause. Or like for us, a tradition for my family is we go to the pumpkin farm, the one in Ligonier.
Oh, okay.
The fashion farm. Yeah, they got their little walkthrough, which is really cute. I do like it. Sometimes their themes are a little, that's odd. That's an odd choice, but I know that you're trying to fit in like current stuff.
Yeah.
You know, to appeal to the kiddos, which I think is always cool. But, you know, that's typically what we do now. I mean, and I've said this the last time, like during spooky season, I get immensely busy. Everybody fucking wants the spooky goth girl in October.
Yeah.
Or the goth people, whatever, in October to come to their parties. And there's like a shit ton of things that we've been invited to. And it's like, that sounds awesome. But can't make all of them because you literally have all your fucking parties on the same goddamn day.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah. And I definitely can understand that, you know, because everyone wants to have that Halloween themed party. It's been forever since I've been to a Halloween party. I have such amazing costume ideas. I have an amazing costume idea. This is now year 2 that I've not done it. Because I don't really go to parties, you know. I hang out in circles of 2. So, you know, it just kind of is what it is. So I you know, have not done the Halloween party thing at all, but hey, you know, y'all go out and enjoy it for me.
Well, now I want to hear this idea for the outfit that you've been wanting to do.
See, but if I say it, I'll spoil it.
But you'll manifest it. It might happen.
No, because I've already talked about it. But I want to do it next year and post something for the podcast with it, because I'm telling you all right now, I can pull this costume off, and it's not just the costume. It has to be my personality. It has to be my voice. It has to be my singing voice as well too. That gives a little clue. So it's a whole transformation. And 2 years ago, I practiced all 3 of those.
That's awesome. Singing voice,
speaking voice, learning the lines, learning the different stuff. So I can pull it off. I could do it 2 years ago. I'll have to do it again, but I have to practice. It's not something that I can just, you know, fall off a boat and be great at. Like I have to practice.
So not Nicolas Cage from Longlegs.
No, not Nicolas. It's not anything that's current.
I figured, but that's the first thought that came to my mind.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to say the least. So that's why I'm not going to say anything, because it's going to be so kick-ass if I do it right that I can't take away from the surprise.
Hey, there was one that I've been wanting to do for, let's say, since the movie came out. I want to do Gabriel from fucking, what is that movie? Malignant.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like some sort of Archangel movie, like with Keanu Reeves and shit. I forget what that was.
Spoilers if you haven't seen *Malignant*. Shame on you if you haven't. But yeah, Gabriel's the little Belial.
I call it the back growth.
The little Belial thing that's on the back of her head.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so funny.
That would be funny.
I've been wanting to do that for so long. I think that'd be fun. I know it can be done. I've seen cosplayers do it, but I'm like, shit, I could do that.
That would be interesting. So I'm going to get into a little rant discussion here.
Do it.
So we don't have any current events because there's just stuff going on.
There's way too many things going on, and we've already covered them.
But so wanted to kind of get into a little bit of a discussion because I've been getting sick and tired of Terrifier 3 taking over the fucking internet. Everything I scroll through is Terrifier 3, Terrifier 3, Terrifier 3. And it's not that I have anything against Terrifier 3. I don't. But my problem is I genuinely liked Terrifier 1 and I genuinely fucking hated Terrifier 2. I thought it was one of the worst 1-2 combos I've seen in a long time. I seem to be the only one that is speaking that truth. I've not heard a single person talk shit on Terrifier 2.
I've heard a couple.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you've heard more than me.
I've heard a couple that didn't particularly like it.
Yeah. And so my biggest thing is it's like when you go from a good 1 to a very poor 2, what the hell's 3 going to be like? You know? And I just fear that, to me, the big difference between 1 and 2 is they got an expanded budget. And I don't think they knew what the hell to do with the budget. And I think that their writing sucked. And it just was a flop. And so now I'm worried about Terrifier 3. But anyway, it got me thinking, like, why did I like 1 and why did I not like 2? And then I'm thinking, like, when's the last good movie that I really, got into or that I really liked? And as I'm driving here, like, I can't really place it in my head because I'm going over the last couple of movies I saw and I'm like, it was like decent is the best that I'm finding in my head. And it brought me back to a moment, and it was an interview, and I have no idea who was doing it, but it was an interview. And the interview made a lot of sense. And basically what the interview said was this: there are no good writers in movies anymore because everything is a cash grab. Everything is a rehash. Everything is a redone. Hardly anything is original anymore because all of the good writers went into TV series. And I'm like, that makes sense because I'm trying to think of the last good movie and everything coming in my head is the last good TV series I saw. For example, I just started watching Yellow Jackets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, such a good fucking show. Such a great show. And I've even went back and in my spare time, I'm kind of like, playing on the computer doing work. I put on the new, but it's still a little bit old, a couple years old, the Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Oh, I like that one. That
is
good.
So good.
It's cute. I like that one.
Yeah, but it's so well done. And I'm just like, I can name like 7 or 8 other TV series that I'm like, they're outstanding. The writing's great. Well, it's because there was a shift in the movie industry to where a lot of the good writers have gone to TV series. A, because there's more pay, because you're doing more episodes, more seasons. They are able to have creative control to expand their stories even further, and it's more challenging for them to write. So they're getting all the good writers, TV series. And I'm just like, that has to be true because I've not researched it. It was just me listening to this interview. I have no clue who was being interviewed. But, how do you feel about that? Because I think it's absolutely, obviously true, in my opinion.
So a couple things go through my mind when it comes to TV series. Those of you who know the show, who I've talked to that are friends, I typically do not like TV series. And it's because I just don't have fucking time to watch and sit down and watch a TV series. I don't have time to binge watch it, even if I wanted to. Hell, I'm slowly making my way through fucking Gossip Girl. I never was allowed to see the damn show when I was a kid, so now I'm watching it now. Anyway, that's not very spooky of me, but don't matter. But I guess my biggest thing with TV shows is that, yes, I do agree that a lot of good writers are going there because, like you said, they can expand their stories. However, I think that's not really a good thing because you need to have also very creative writers who need to be able to condense down a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes, if you want to tell a full story, you got to condense that shit down. And you got to be able to do it with good pacing, good timing, and also be able to have good acting as well as just writing in general to kind of help the story flow. Yeah. Is what I meant. So I'm more disappointed that it's going towards this direction because the other flip side of the coin too is you have series that are amazing for the first couple of episodes or maybe the first 2 seasons. Yeah. The more they drag on, they become cash grabs. Yeah, they turn into them. Absolutely. And like to use for an example, I never watched a single episode but Game of Thrones. Everyone talks about there's a certain amount of episodes that are awesome because it was with one set of writers, and then there's like a certain amount of episodes that are absolutely trash because it was with other writers. Yeah. Again, if you watch Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about. I haven't watched it, so I can't really speak, but that's the one show that I hear people say all the time. It's like night and day. Yeah. Or Lost. Yeah. You know, I hear people talk about that as well, too. One that comes to my mind, you know, fitting our theme is American Horror Story. Say what you will about it. I fucking hate that series. And the reason for it is just because I think it starts out really fucking good. You really got me. The story got me. Whatever the fuck is going on with the conclusion, that's where it goes downhill. It's bad. It's bad at that point. Yeah, there's like 4 seasons where I've watched all the way and been like, that was a good season. But that's in like, I don't even know how many seasons are up to, maybe like 10 or something. Yeah. And it's like, 4 out of 10, that's 40%. That's not a good number, you know, for me. I mean, I like what they did, but it's kind of drawn on, and now there's American Horror Stories. Yeah, where it's like a kind of anthology thing. Yeah, I mean, it's taking something that was really cool and you're sawing it, basically. So, you know, you're taking the Saw series and putting it into, you know, life. So, so I completely get where you're coming from. I think the other thing is, too, a lot of good writers are the ones that are just starting out and they just haven't been discovered yet. Yeah. Or maybe they're the ones that this is their start on a TV series and they just got to make that jump. Yeah, yeah. You saw it with Lisa Frankenstein. Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter. She did a fucking great job on that movie. And that was her film director debut, and she had worked on TV shows before that. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy, but it definitely got me thinking, and, you know, it does suck because, like, I like TV series and I like movies, but it's no fun that, like, to me, it just seems like if there's 10 talented writers, 7 of them are going to TV series right now, is how it feels to me. Yeah. And that just sucks, you know, like, I could do a 60-40, you know, but, like... You know, so it's just something that kind of got me thinking, and, you know, maybe some of y'all in the comments have your opinions or whatever, but yeah, because I could name like 8 TV series that I watch that are like, I would say are really good. I cannot for the life of me think anywhere close to 8 movies I've watched recently that I would say were really good. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I do agree with that. Hell, you could even argue like movie posters are just, they're not what they used to be. Like from the 80s, fucking fantastic. You can name an iconic movie poster no matter what. Now you got copy paste of the exact same like pose or style, looking at the goddamn camera, the fucking floating heads. Fucking hate that shit. Oh. That's a lazy poster making. But you know, that's what you got now. That's all we have. It's just, I don't, to me, it's a weak October. It's a weak October when all I see on the internet as far as horror goes is Terrifier 3 and Smile 2. To me, that's fucking weak. Like, I don't care how good Terrifier 3 is. Like, okay, fine. It's a third movie. We know what's going on. We know what's, you know, happening. And then you're going to hit me with Smile 2, which looks fucking atrocious. Like, do I kick myself in the balls or do I watch Smile 2? Like, to me, it's kind of looking like that because it just looks fucking terrible. I will say this for at least Terrifier 3, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, but, you know, I think I mentioned this last time. I like that it's taking the dark spin on Christmas, but I don't need the excess violence just for shock's sake. I think if it doesn't you know, and I feel like a hypocrite because, you know, we love Jason, we love Leatherface, but the thing was about that is it was fun to watch the villain because there was this, I don't know, something about them. There was like this mystique, and also there was this unwritten rule that they followed. You know what I mean?
You want to know a huge difference? There's a backstory going with Jason. There's a backstory going with Michael Myers. What do you know about Art the Clown?
Well, apparently he has a daughter.
Okay. News to me, but
also
I also haven't paid attention that much. But
like mommy issues.
But what's the backstory there?
That he has mommy issues and that he possibly has a daughter that he may or may not have killed.
Okay.
And maybe the third movie explains it. I don't know.
And it's not that I think Terrifier 3 is the worst franchise or anything like that. I actually kind of like them. But for me, it's getting way more attention than what I feel it should be. You know? Like, for me, I'm yet to see 3, and maybe I'll change my mind, but I have a feeling that when I watch 3, I'm going to be like, 1 was good, 2 was bad, and they redeem themselves slightly in 3. And it just becomes a mediocre franchise at best.
Right.
That's my worry. Now, maybe I'll eat my own words. I don't know. I may end up really liking 3.
Maybe Terrifier 3 is Season of the Witch.
Who knows? Who knows?
It's that hidden gem.
Which I got a bunch of hate on the internet because there was this girl who was going over, I don't know if I showed you, the board of the storylines for her boyfriend. And she has all these storylines. And then she's like, yeah, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch has nothing to do with Michael Myers. He's not even in the movie and blah, blah. And I was like, hate to be the one to correct you, but Michael Myers is in number 3 Season of the Witch. And I'm like, when he goes into the bar,
it's playing on
changes the channel. The bartender changes the channel, and you see Michael Myers briefly. It's Halloween 1, but Michael Myers is on the TV.
He's technically in
the movie.
Yep.
I don't want to be that nerd, but and then I got some hate like, oh, well, they're just showing Halloween 1. Michael Myers is on the screen in Halloween 3. Therefore, he's in the movie. If you're not in the movie, you cannot be seen in the movie. For example, I'm in no movies. Never been in a movie because you can't see me in a movie. So, you know. Anyway, I hate to be that nerd, but I absolutely will. So that's my thing with Terrifier 3.
Actually.
So Michael Myers is totally in number 3. He's on the TV in the bar. The guy turns the channel. He's on there very briefly.
You got it. There you go. Yes.
So no, I'm just... You know, I could talk about Terrifier 3 forever. I have to watch it. I'm not going to the theaters. No. I'll own it on media. I will not own 2. I don't own.
You don't want to. You're not a completionist. You're not going to complete the collection.
I don't know. I say that, and then I probably have it, and I'm a fucking hypocrite. You know, because I'll buy shit.
We all are hypocrites.
Well, because what happens is I'm not going to the theaters. Fuck that. I'm like, I'll watch it. And then a lot of times I've watched it because I bought it. And then I'm like, I wouldn't buy this garbage. And then
that's
I already
right.
bought it because that's how I watch it.
That's true.
That's probably what Terrifier 2 is. I mean, do you want a live result to see if it really is that?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's actually check to see if you have it, because that would be hilarious.
Is that how I watched Terrifier 2? Come on, CLZ. Any of you who collect movies and do not have the CLZ app,
you need
to get it. I do have Terrifier 2, so that is how I watched it. I have it on 4K.
Oh, that's hilarious,
That's
Mark.
some bullshit.
Mark, you hypocrite.
I
love that for you.
I don't even know my own collection, but I'm not surprised because I do that so often. I'm like, I'm not seeing that in theaters. And so the first time I watch something is when I've bought it. And then I'm just like,
I'll never see that schlock again. Oh, fuck, it's right on my shelf.
I'm like, damn it. There it is, staring me in the face. and it's the 4K version at that.
Hey, spooky parents. We want to help promote an awesome alternative clothing brand from the Midwest. made just for you ghouls. It's Feral Mama. The brand was started by Gretchen, a mother of 4 living in Cleveland, Ohio, who is a trained doula and has a passion for supporting motherhood and other mothers who are struggling with mental illness, postpartum depression, and mothers who are struggling to find a support group for other alternative mothers. Since she started her business, she has found an awesome community that has supported her through thick and thin. We support her on this mission as parents ourselves. Feral Mama has lots of comfy t-shirts with spooky designs for, mostly mamas, but also some unisex options are available for any of you papas or caregivers out there. She also sells kids shirts from time to time, as well as hoodies, crew neck, long sleeve shirts, patches, pins, mugs, and some other really cute bags. You can use my code OscureIvy to get 10% off your first order using the link in the description on our Instagram or even on our YouTube, feralmamashop.com/OscureIvy. That's feralmamashop.com/OscureIvy. By supporting her, you will also be helping us continue to do what we do. It can take anywhere between 14 to 21 business days to receive your order, but remember, she is only one person. So go support your local Feral Mama today. Remember to support small businesses, women, and of course, badass mamas everywhere.
Let's give you guys some movie recommendations. With a twist.
Yes.
So we're all familiar with Cabin in the Woods, right? The classic, the one that, everybody quotes because it is very meta humor.
It is. I have to go back and rewatch it because there's a part where, I guess
Spoil it. It doesn't matter.
It's been out forever.
It's been out forever.
There's a part in the movie where you realize there's more going on behind the scenes than what you initially thought. Uh-huh. When I saw that, I'm like such a just a snob with movies sometimes.
Yeah.
Once I saw that, I initially was like, I don't like that, and so therefore I don't think I paid attention to the rest of the movie. And I need to go watch it again to actually understand if I really like it or not. Mm-hmm. Because it is a turn that is like, whoa. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was different.
Strange. Yeah.
It makes a hard right hand turn, So I think I was just lost with that and I don't really like that right hand turn, and then I just probably didn't pay attention for the rest of it.
See, my introduction to Cabin in the Woods is I actually did not see the movie until this movie came out in 2011. I did not get to see this movie until I was married.
Really?
And however, when it first came out, maybe 2014, though, a couple years afterwards, there was this huge ass hardbound book that the library got. My local library in Milford, I think, got this one, or it was Syracuse. And anyway, it was all about the making of Cabin in the Woods.
Really?
Yeah. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever. I had no idea what the left-hand turn was going to be. I had no idea that this was a whole simulation and all this other shit. So when I saw that in the book, I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, this is super unique. And then they showed, the monsters and shit like that. I'm like, fuck, now I need to really see this. Didn't get to see it until I was married.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. And I think it's a perfect movie for the holiday season.
Sure, yeah, I would agree.
I mean, you can watch this fucking movie year round. Every day's Halloween for us.
Oh, of course.
But this is it's such a fun movie. It's flips those expectations that you had on its head. Mm-hmm. And it's also, I almost want to say, a good, not really gateway horror, but if you're trying to introduce somebody into the horror genre in general, you can show them universal monster movies. But if it's a teenager, sometimes they don't like to watch those black and white movies. This is the perfect movie to show that disgruntled teenager, these are some awesome monsters. You'll like this shit.
Yeah, I could see that.
So with that being said, the idea for this episode is, let's give some movie recommendations based on each of these monsters that are on the betting board.
Sure.
So if you don't know, in the movie, there's a huge, gigantic betting board that these nerds in an office are using. And we're basically saying, okay, $10, the sexy witches can capture this dumb jock guy.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Or maybe it'll be the hillbilly people that will capture the virgin, something like that. They'll kind of bet because they're spoilers. They're trying to appease these like ancient gods and stuff like that, and trying to make sure they have enough blood in the form of a horror movie come to life sort of ordeal. So.
Yeah, it's a cool concept. I agree. I think it'd be a good movie to kind of, start people out with. Definitely. Yeah.
So we're going to give you guys some horror movie recommendations based on some of these monsters.
Yes.
I'm going to have you go first, Mark.
Okay, so looking at my list, because I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to do these, and today was an
There's so many
day.
weird things on here. Like they have angry molesting trees, scarecrow folk, snowman, dragon bat.
Yeah. So
sugar plum fucking fairies.
There's no wrong way of doing this. Mm-hmm. How I decided to do it was I picked characters that are involved in movies that are very near and dear to me, movies that I love, that I think each in their own way provide something a little bit different from the others.
Yeah.
So we'll start out with vampires.
Okay. Vampires.
So there's so many directions you could go.
So many. I mean, there's so many fucking vampire movies.
I mean, my number 2, I gotta be honest, was Lost Boys.
Yeah. Oh, how could you not? That's a classic.
So my number 2 is Lost Boys. My number 1 is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh.
My absolute favorite vampire movie. I think it is the best. Great acting, great one-liners. My band had an intro for our demo cut from Dusk Till Dawn. So very special to me. Neil, if you're listening, you totally understand what I'm talking about. But From Dusk Till Dawn, if you need to watch any singular vampire movie, that is the one you watch.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez does a really good job for that movie.
Awesome. Quentin Tarantino is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Danny Trejo's in it.
Danny Trejo, was George Clooney, Selma Hayek's in it.
Tom
Savini's in it. Yeah, he's got the penis gun.
That fucking struck me as like, oh my god, that's fucking Tom Savini.
And he did the makeup.
Yeah, well, of course he did.
I know. But yeah, no, fucking outstanding. Cheech Marin is in it. Oh,
that is genuinely a really entertaining movie.
Yeah, it is.
And it's I understand why that's there for you as far as a vampire movie. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It's a wild ride too.
Yeah. And it's a movie that you'll watch, you'll never forget.
Nope.
You'll never forget. And it's gotta be in anyone's top. I mean, it's gotta be in your top 30 of like best movies. It's probably in my top 15 all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, so right now, because I also like to mention where you can find these movies.
Other than media.
But you should. Yeah. Prime Video and Amazon right now have it, and so does MGM Plus.
Yeah,
everything's fucking plus.
Don't even get me started on MGM Plus. MGM Plus has an app where it's casting only.
That's stupid.
So fucking dumb. Just give me the damn app. I don't want to fuck with my phone and do that casting bullshit. MGM Plus, suck my asshole. You're fucking terrible.
All right, so I'll go next. Mine is Werewolf. Of course I'm going to pick Werewolf. Okay. I love those beasts.
Yeah.
So there's so many werewolf movies, and I could obviously do like your classics like Werewolf of London, the original Wolfman, one of my favorites, The Howling. But my personal favorite werewolf movie that I remember seeing with Luke, he actually bought the VHS tape of it.
I need to rewatch this. I don't think I own it.
Ginger Snaps. It's a Canadian movie.
I'm familiar with it, but I don't think I've seen it forever.
It's basically a Canadian coming-of-age horror movie about two teenage girls that are very, like, kind of quirky, kind of goth, death-obsessed. They're taking... I love the opening scene where they're taking, like, photos of them, like, killing themselves, but it's just, like, it's fake blood and shit. It's so good.
I don't own it. I'm so mad.
And they're just... It's so good, and it's, like, the whole cycle of the werewolf situation that you know and love takes place around this girl becoming a woman. Like, it takes place during her fucking period. And it's like, oh my God, yeah, it's like that. Mm-hmm. So it's a great movie. I can't recommended enough, you want something different from your normal werewolf films, this is definitely one of them. It's also man, it is just Y2K infused.
Yeah.
It literally came out in the 2000s. So if you want some angst, you want to see Daria and fucking Jane become werewolves, that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's very good. Right now it's available on Amazon and Peacock.
Okay. Good choice. Good choice. So my next one, I decided... And I just chose it at random without having thought behind it, and I'm so glad I did. So I picked Sexy Witches. Because I was
Why wouldn't you?
Well, and so I was thinking...
Boobies!
Yeah, I was thinking, so this will be easy. It's not.
No?
No, I did not find a lot of sexy witches.
Okay.
So I was just kind of thinking into it, because it's plural. And the problem is there's a lot of things where it's a sexy witch or whatever.
Yeah, right. True.
So, and then it hit me, you idiot, like another one of your all-time favorite movies. So for my topic, sexy witches, I have to hands down talk about The Craft.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when you say sexy witch.
I couldn't believe that it didn't come to mind first. That movie. So, with the theme of sexy witches, that movie has whatever flavor you like, because there's a plethora of them, and they all have their little personalities going on.
You got the weird girl, you got the hot goth chick, you got the kind of sweet little girl next door, and then you got just the athletic one. Yes. She doesn't really fit in, but it's cool.
But I mean, in my younger years, this movie was insanely popular. Such a great movie. Can't say enough about it. But for the topic of sexy witches, there is no other movie, hands down. It is The Craft. I will fight you on that. Hands down, best sexy witches movie.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So great. And I forget the lead, but the goth chick,
Fairuza Balk.
Yes, and then I love how she was in Waterboy after it.
Yes, well, man, kill him.
She did such a great job. She
was so funny.
Yes. So that was so great.
The Craft is available on Amazon, Prime Video, and Peacock.
Again, there's only one movie that you could debate is not on my list, a high caliber, amazing, highly influential movie. There's one that you can argue is not. I'll concede that there's one on my list that's probably not, but it still could be.
Well, next is zombies, and this is one that I selected. And zombies run the goddamn gamut.
My gosh.
They're all over the fuck, all over the place, and it's just annoying as fuck. You can literally throw out any zombie movie. You could throw out the original Dawn of the Dead. You could throw out Return of the Living Dead 3, Julie.
Yeah.
You could throw out anything, but one that I really wanted to mention that I feel like does not get enough love, it needs more love. It's called Cemetery Man. It also goes by the name, and this is the name actually I was introduced to it by. Give me 1 second. Sorry, looking it up, Luke.
And with this movie, I had not seen it till I stayed with my brother in Houston, and he asked me, "Have you seen this movie?" I hadn't, and I watched the first half of it, but I had my daughter, and there are definitely some scenes that are not 5-year-old appropriate, and so we had to stop. Yeah. So I haven't seen it since the inappropriate part's on.
So the original, title that I knew it as was De la Morte, de la More.
Okay.
So, but it goes by Cemetery Man in English. But wow, is it a trip? It's like Evil Dead meets Brain Dead or Dead Alive.
Dead Alive, yeah.
Meets like Tim Burton. It is a strange concoction of all these movies where it's got a little bit of humor. It's got a lot of humor, actually.
It has titties.
It has titties. It has titties,
yep.
Couple times in this movie. Yep. Multiple times in this movie. And it just has these strange like undertones of how you deal with grief and death and dying and that sort of thing. But basically the plot of the movie is there's a gentleman that works in this cemetery. It's a beautiful fucking cemetery. It even has a fucking ossuary in it.
Don't know what that is, but awesome.
It's the bone place where he first meets the chick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's really cool looking. But he grows accustomed to, in this particular cemetery, the dead coming back to life all the time. So he's
That's a nuisance.
He's ready with the gun at all times, ready to pop him. And he's got like this cute little guy that works with him, and he kind of just speaks and grunts, and he's kind of like a little kid. But it's so good. It's so good. It's worth a watch. It's a little harder to come by, but thank God for Tubi and Pluto TV, because that's what they're available on. You can also technically do Prime Video and Amazon, but man, you guys got to check it out. Just alone for, there's one particular scene that will never not be funny, and it's the floating head chick.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Oh, that was silly. It's like, I don't know. For some reason, it cracks me up when she attacks somebody, and it's just like this little head around and attacking somebody. It's very funny. Which the floating head thing we'll come back to at a later time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good choice. Like you were saying, there's so many directions you can go with that, but I think it's a good pick because it's. We're doing this with the thought of recommending movies for, people. And, we could recommend, Return of the Living Dead 3, but it wouldn't hit like it did for us, when we originally watched it. So I think that's a great, recommendation, kind of a flying under the radar, not as popular.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I did with a lot of mine. I like obscure shit. I like the weird shit that not many people see, and you got to really dig up in order to watch,
Yeah, so for me, I normally go that route, but for this one, I didn't, because I had most iconic in my mind. I guess you could say From Dusk Till Dawn and Vampires. I
feel like that's a little bit under the radar, for sure.
So this next one is not.
Okay.
But it's so spot on. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Evil Twins. And most of you probably could guess where I'm going with this. The Grady twins, The Shining. To me, like that, it's the best Evil Twins. It's like hard to steer away from, because in my mind it's just so creepy, like so well done. I mean, and of course, if you've not seen The Shining, it is absolutely a movie that you need to watch.
So right now that's available on Max, Prime Video, and Amazon. But I would for Evil Twins, I thought of Belial.
Okay,
I thought of Basket Case.
I thought of Hereditary. Hereditary, the one you were just talking about.
No, that's Malignant.
Sorry. Hereditary's with is it the little girl?
That's a little girl. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Malignant. I thought about that. I thought about saying that, but I was like, no, I can't. Yeah, no, and I thought about that. Thought about that, and I'm going to recommend Basket Case, but I just felt like, I was thinking most iconic.
And that's great. I think The Shining is, let's talk about The Shining for a second. The Shining is it's a classic. It's
a nearly flawless movie.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a masterpiece. It's literally one of Stanley Kubrick's best. I mean, he's got a shit ton of really good movies like Clockwork Orange.
To me, it's his best movie.
But
it's his best movie.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I think it's great. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Read the book.
Yeah.
Read the book. Mm-hmm. The book is different. Mm-hmm. And there was a TV series.
And then
that's really strange.
I have Dr. Sleep, which is the second one, but I've never watched it. I've heard good things. I've never watched it.
I own the book, and I don't know if I have the movie yet. I might, but I still haven't seen it yet. Yeah. I still haven't read the book yet, so that's why I wanted to read the book before I saw the movie, so I haven't had the chance to really continue on with that. I hope it's good. I have no idea.
Yeah, so that's my Evil Twins. I was going for iconic with this, and it doesn't get much more iconic than that.
So, as you know, or if you don't, that's fine. Go watch Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods has some strange monsters that have actually killed people on here. And I'm going to go into some of the more stranger ones. So, there's a unicorn that straight up stabs a man.
That's interesting.
That's one of the monsters. And I do have a movie for this, actually.
I couldn't think of anything.
So there was a movie from 1985 called Legend. And it is a beautiful movie. It's very much like this dark fantasy movie. It's basically about this young man who needs to find this woman and these unicorns. These unicorns are the kind of the MacGuffin of the story. But basically, the young man is trying to stop this devil creature played by Tim Curry. He's called the Darkness from destroying daylight and marrying the woman he loves. But the unicorns play a significant role in it as well. It literally has Mia Sara. She was from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was the main chick in that one. Okay. And Tom Cruise. And the movie was directed by none other than Ridley Scott.
I wonder if I've seen that long ago.
It's genuinely a really good movie. The unicorns aren't very dangerous, but you can argue that this is a very...
I have seen that. I've totally seen that.
There's a Lord of Darkness.
Yes.
Yeah, Tim Curry.
Yeah. Okay, I absolutely have seen that movie.
Yeah, so it's got horror elements to it. I didn't realize
that that's what you were talking about. Yes, the demon in the end, Tim Curry. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Oh, shit. That is such a good movie.
That is a good film.
It is such a good movie.
I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Right now it's on Prime Video and Amazon. It's very nice. It's just like it's a feel-good movie.
Sure, yeah.
But it's, like I said, it's got some horror elements to it. It
does have darker elements.
I almost considered putting the last unicorn here. That unicorn does attack a thing.
Okay.
It's a cartoon movie.
Sure.
But it's really well done. It's got some very much darker tones to it. There's literally a woman that is killed by a harpy that has tits out. It also has like a skeleton that talks and giggles and is drunk all the time. And it has a red bull that's like the main protagonist, one of the main protagonists, that the unicorns are driven into the sea. So the unicorns are being held underwater by this red bull that threw them in there. And all the while, this unicorn turns into a human by the mistake of a magician. And the unicorn, because she's turning into a human, she experiences what the potential of death is. Because she's immortal, she's never had to experience that. So when she turns into a human, she experiences existential dread. Being in an immortal body. And lust for the first time, because she starts falling out for a prince. It's kind of Little Mermaid in that sense.
Sure, yeah.
But... okay, maybe that's my suggestion. Go fucking watch Last Unicorn, because it's really damn good.
Legend.
And Legend.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one, so that's a great one.
But Last Unicorn, by the way, because I'm such a nerd, you can watch it on literally Tubi, Plex, Freevee, Peacock, anything. Go watch it. It's actually a really good 1980s movie.
All right, sweet. So my next one is probably not my, great cinematic accomplishments. So I took on Giant Snake.
Anaconda?
Yes, exactly. My favorite.
I'll never forget that movie. Man.
I love it. It has Jennifer Lopez in it, Ice Cube, Jon Voight.
It's got a star-studded cast.
It does. I mean, it's such a great movie. It's actiony, subtly little kind of scary, but more in like an action sequence. But Anaconda's a good movie. Definitely one worth, recommending people watch.
I forget Owen Wilson's in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Does he die in that one too?
He does, yeah.
God damn it. He can't catch a break, can he? He fucking died in The Haunting.
Yeah.
Got his head lopped off.
But yeah, so Anaconda's a great flick. I mean, it's not on the level of the other movies I've been mentioning.
That's fine. It's a good one.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
I remember catching that one on TV back in the day. But it's available on Max right now and Prime Video and Amazon.
Sweet.
All right. So another unconventional kind of fairy tale one that I'm going for is Merman.
Merman.
Yes, there is a merman that attacks somebody in Cabin in the Woods, and he's not a good looking thing. No. He's a beast. He's not in the good way. But my horror movie to kind of go with that is, no, it's not Shape of Water, Luke. It's not Shape of Water. That's a gill, man. There's a difference. But my horror movie to go with this is, it doesn't necessarily have mermen in it, but it has mermaids. The movie's called The Lure.
The Lure.
And it's a very strange kind of dark take on The Little Mermaid, where it's mermaid ladies, like they're sisters, and they are adopted into like a cabaret.
Okay.
And while one seeks the love of a human, the other one wants to basically turn to a vampire and eat everybody. And so they're both always constantly going back and forth with each other on what their goals are. But the one is always like, sister, you want to eat these people, that sort of thing. And it's really fucking good. It's very dark. It was made back in 2015. I remember when this movie first...
I don't think I saw it.
Man, it's fucking good. It's like an overseas film. I don't remember where exactly it's from. I want to say it's...
You mean I gotta read them goddamn subtitles?
You don't need to read subtitles. Last time I saw it. It's from Poland.
Oh, I don't speak no Polish.
That's okay. I don't remember seeing subtitles, but I could be wrong. I could be stupid. But... I remember watching it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. It's got it's very artsy.
Sure.
It's a very artsy film.
Hey, you got to have some artsy films in there.
But it's available on Max right now.
Sweet. All right. So now my last one is Deadites.
Aha!
So
wonder what those are coming from.
It's I'm thinking that I'm taking a slight curve a little bit because of what you may think.
Okay.
So when I say Deadites, what are you thinking I'm going to say?
So, of course, I think of Evil Dead.
Yep. But that's
where they come from.
Exactly.
But I'm wondering what your spin on this is going to be.
So, I do have to mention Evil Dead. I do. It was Blake's favorite movie. Obviously, that's what comes to mind. But however, it was Blake's favorite, but it is not my favorite with Deadites in it. And I'm adapting this term because to me, I think Deadites is like a blanket term, not necessarily a specific term. I'm going to go to one of my all-time favorite franchises, one of the films that is some of the best that I have ever seen, most creative, most well-written, most thought up, Hellraiser.
Okay.
The Cenobites I consider Deadites.
Okay.
Because they're from beyond. We know Pinhead's dead. Pinhead died as a person, and the Deadites are the same. So I know they're called Cenobites, but I consider them Deadites.
And I'm not trying to rain on your parade.
Sure.
But technically there are Cenobites in the movie Cabin in the Woods, but they're called Helllords.
Sure. Okay.
So, and like I said, I'm not trying to correct you or anything, but I just remember there was that scene with the dude with the saws in his head.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm not going the easy way and saying, Evil Dead and all that, because Hellraiser is 1 and 2 are films that if you are into horror and you for some reason have not seen those, Clive Barker at his best, one of the best writers, period. Absolute masterpieces. Some of the most I mean, in my opinion, Pinhead in a nutshell is one of the most iconic characters overall. Looks, storyline, acting, you name it. He's one of the Godfather levels for me. Absolutely love Hellraiser. Cannot speak enough about how great of films. I'll say 1 and 2. Now there's other discussions to be had for some of the others, but no one can say anything bad about 1 and 2. You can't do it. Specifically 2. 2 is my favorite.
2 is fucking
2
good.
is so good.
2 is one of those movies. Okay, let me back up. 1 the first Hellraiser movie is one that I can throw in the background on my TV and just, oh yeah, I remember this.
Pleasure, sir.
This is wonderful. This is a great movie. It's one of those comfort movies. You just throw on the back of your TV. You know exactly what's going to happen. You don't need to pay attention. The second movie does not matter.
Is in, baby.
Does not matter what scene comes on. I'm immediately like hooked to the TV again. I'm like, oh, fuck. Shit's going down. Even though you know what's going to happen, it's like, oh, it's so good. I can't look away.
Yep. And the puzzle box with just all its mystery. Such a great tool to draw your attention in. And you know, not only that, but then the marketing off of that. Oh, yeah. Genius.
I think the second movie also has a better story. I like the fact that the chick comes back. Yeah. Not like the aunt or whoever the fuck that bitch was, the mean one. She comes back and she's like trying to get her
doing
skin.
The bidding for the brother.
I think that's fucking cool. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Hellraiser, by the way, you can see on Pluto, Tubi, Prime Video, and Amazon. And then Hellraiser 2 can be found on Plex, Pluto, Tubi, Amazon as well. All right, so then my last recommendation that I'm going to say, so if you look at the fucking board in Cabin in the Woods, there's a shit ton of things on there.
Oh gosh, there's so many.
There's too many things that we could probably do another list if that's something you guys wanted to do for more horror movie recommendations to kind of go off as a prompt. But the next one I'm going to do is Floating Head, because I had talked about it last time. I'm going with Houseu.
I have no idea what that is.
So I've talked about this one a lot. So House is such an odd movie. It's from 1977. It's with the Japanese girls where they all have different personalities. I think I've talked about this one before a couple times.
Yeah.
There's literally a scene that always fucking cracks me up where the chick loses her head, gets decapitated, and God damn it, the head goes to bite someone on the ass. It just cracks me up every time I see it. Like, I understand that the movie's supposed to be... I don't even think the movie's supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But it's just such a silly little horror film with, like, weird, batshit, insane elements that you just can't help but enjoy it. We need to watch it at some point, Mark, just so you can see the batshitness of it.
And so a movie came to mind when you said Floating Head. Mine isn't exactly a floating head.
Yeah.
But it's very much the head is like the feature. That's what I thought of.
Oh my
Head of
God.
the Family.
I've never seen this one.
Oh, I believe I own it on VHS.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what came to mind.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, we should watch that sometime. It's been forever since I've watched it, but
do you know what happens in it? What the
I
fuck
don't
is this
remember.
about?
I just remember that I believe it's like he's in like a little wheelchair, and his body is basically like, from what I remember, it's not non-existent, but it's
on Tubi.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude.
But yeah, Head of the Family is what I thought of. I believe I own it. Let me see.
Oh my God. A giant head on a tiny body who physically controls the rest of his even more unusual family. Oh my God, dude. That looks amazing.
I have it on DVD, actually. Yeah, Head of the Family. Oh my God.
It's a Charles Band movie. Even better.
Of course, yeah. But that's what I thought of when you said a floating head. But then I'm like, wait, no, it's not. It's technically not floating.
That's cool, though.
But yeah, Head of the Family is...
Well, I like where that went. Houseu can be found on Max, Prime Video, and Amazon as well. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our movie recommendations. I like that. I think yours was a better movie recommendation for a floating head. I like that. I mean, it's not floating, but that's still pretty cool. And now I need to go see that. So thank you for that movie recommendation.
Yes. I got it confused with another movie that I have. So I knew that it wasn't a floating head, but it was his head was the main thing. And I thought it was a movie called The Johnsons, which is another movie I own, but that's little like creatures.
Little Peter Johnson?
Yeah, look up The Johnsons.
Okay.
Comes right to it. Yeah, The Johnsons. Because they have big heads too, but they're like almost little tiki looking guys. I have to own it because it's my last name too. Okay. So
how strange. I love it.
Yeah, that's another one that I have on VHS that I know that one's on VHS.
See, this is why you need to collect physical media, because you'll probably never find this shit ever again. You might see it on Tubi, but that's the thing, they can pull shit.
I know I have it, but apparently it's not entered into my CLV.
Well, Well, that happens. We got some there.
Yeah, the Johnsons. That's what I thought it was at first, and then I'm like, no. That's called Head of the Family. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, it's like, I love, so I have a bunch of those movies, but they're so obscure to, like, talk about them sometimes is so, like, how do you pull those in? But that's what I thought of when you said floating.
This is the great platform to do it on, because we can recommend shit to you all, and you can recommend shit to us maybe we never heard of before.
So I think we need to do that. I think we need to set up a most obscure movies that we own episode and talk a little bit about them, because I've got some weird shit, man.
I know you do.
I've got
like you got that weird wheelchair movie, don't you?
Hell Roller. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell Roller. I had to buy that bootlegged.
I know you've talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, just the back of it.
It looks silly. I love that.
The back of so it reminds me of Ernest. But yeah.
It does look like Ernest. Oh my god.
That's what I remember. He would roll around and he would stab you with his pocket knife. I haven't seen it in so long, but before I owned it, it's one of those things where I'm like, I think the movie premise is a handicapped gentleman rolls around in a wheelchair and stabs you with a pocket knife.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can that be the premise of that movie?
Right.
Well, I have to be mistaken in my head. I'm probably combining 2 or 3 movies together. Nope, sure as shit, that's what the movie's about. Because it's like, this is a movie that I watched with Blake one time. That's fucking wonderful. Time. In like 1995. Let's say. And I haven't seen it since then, but I remember it. But it's like how much of my memory is accurate over the years. And it turns out pretty damn accurate.
That's the beautiful thing about physical media, though. And like having these experiences. How many other kids are going to have these experiences where you just watch that weird thing and it's like, oh, I don't remember what the fuck that movie was, but goddamn, did it leave an impact on me?
My year's pretty accurate because it came out in 1992, so I bet you it probably was 1995. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where you can buy this movie at.
Probably nowhere. It's probably out of print.
My other one that I have to watch again was a movie called Salvage Yard.
Salvage Yard?
Yeah, or Blood Salvage or something like that. I'll have to
I think you've talked about this one before too. It sounds familiar.
They're the two of them I had to buy bootleg because I cannot find them anymore. And they're probably out of print. So like there's a guy that has so many bootleg movies that you just are like, what the fuck is that? Like movies that you can't get anymore, but you have to, buy them bootleg from this guy. He like does the Days of the Dead tour and stuff. But yeah,
that's cool.
I had to get Hell Roller. I saw it and I'm like, he has fucking Hell Roller. I've not even thought about that movie since I saw it. And I'm like, oh, we're buying this shit. I had to buy it. So yes, I've got all sorts of weird shit. I would love to do that and do like my top 5 most obscure, weirdest shit in my collection and have that on an episode. And I'll rewatch them so I'm familiar with them so I can speak on them. Oh, that would be a fucking great episode because I've got some shit.
That's cool. Absolutely. We need to do that.
That needs to be an episode.
That would be cool. Should do it.
Yeah, you heard it here. So now because I feel bad because I gave everyone like iconic but stereotypical movies.
Don't feel bad. These are good suggestions. Maybe some of you out there haven't seen them.
But I'm like, oh, it doesn't show any of my horror buff side at all. It almost makes me feel generic.
Oh, don't say that.
Like I was a touch generic. So I got to bring the weirdness for you all the next time.
We will. We will promise you that.
Awesome. Well, with that being said,
look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye.
Bye. Bye.